Well, we could, but like we're gonna do that. Hi, Sarah. Doing a podcast, but I don't know how I'm doing the podcast part yet. So this is just like a rough draft since I have to turn something in today. Um, so I don't know. Do we just start? We're just gonna start.
We're gonna start. Okay. So I have some questions for you.
Lovely,
Sarah. What does it mean to be vegan?
So, being a vegan in like the broad spectrum is kind of like you cut out all meats and you cut out all dairies out of your diet. But like being a vegan is not considered a diet, so called. It's more of like a lifestyle. More into like what, like, for vegans, they basically just don't eat any animal byproducts. So like even like gelatin is made from animal bones, so they like won't eat that. A lot of vegans get into it in like short steps. So some people will become a vegetarian first and then they will move on to being vegan. So first they cut out the meat and then they cut out the dairy, because a lot of American traditions have dairy in them, like traditional what's it called, recipes. So it's kind of hard to take that out. It's a lot easier to take out meats first, just to like make it a easier transition. For other people, they just go all in and take everything out and change their whole lifestyle. More extreme vegans, and it not extreme in a bad way, but more just into the community, normally people who have been a vegan for longer, will even avoid animal cruelty products. So like leather would be something they wouldn't wear. For like women, they won't use beauty products and hair products that like treat on animals before they put them on the shelves. Also, like some people won't even eat honey because honey is produced by bees and they see that as controversial, but that's more up in the air. I don't think that many vegans do that from the research that I've looked at.
What about
even
like zoos?
Yeah, some people will not participate and give their money to go to zoos and see the animals because it's considered, for them and their morals, they see that as abusive and they see it as cruelty to keep animals that are supposed to be in the wildlife in captivity. So like I said before, this isn't really a diet. It's more considered like a lifestyle for people, because the choices that you have to make to become a vegan are like life-changing. It changes, like being a vegan is considered to be a lot healthier for people. It's also just like the whole ethos behind becoming and choosing to become a vegan is like very big, and like the people don't just choose to be vegan because it's healthier for them. Most of the time it's because they care about animals and they care about how they're treated, and they like are almost boycotting how animals are treated and like farming and stuff like that through not eating meat, which then gives less money to the big farming companies who are slaughtering the pigs and cows and stuff like that. And like if you aren't buying animal cruelty products, then like they aren't getting your money, so you aren't supporting them. So it's kind of, it's not just a change in what you eat, it's also a change in like mindset. And sometimes it's not even a change, it's just an action on how you think the world should work, I guess. So there is a big difference between being a vegan and vegetarian that a lot of people get confused. Being a vegetarian is just cutting meat out of your life. Some vegetarians even still eat fish, but being a vegetarian means that you don't eat meat products. Being a vegan means that you don't eat any animal byproducts in general. So like I said before, like gelatin or honey in some cases. So like no dairy, like sour cream, cream cheese, milk and stuff like that. So it's none of those when you're a vegan, but when you're a vegetarian, you can still eat dairy, but you just can't eat meat. And it's not that you can't, it's that you choose to not do it. So I think that's all I have to say about that.
Another question I have is, how did you learn about the vegan community?
So I've heard about being a vegan and like their whole community through a lot of social media websites. It wasn't like one specific moment that I was like that I learned about it. It was kind of just I saw it here and there. The biggest part of me learning about being vegan and like the whole community is my roommate freshman year was a vegan and she had been one for several years, so she was more into the community than anyone else I'd met. And she definitely was immersed into several like communities online, and like most of her friends were vegan as well because she had like converted them over time. But that's probably where I like became the most informative of it until now.
Another question I have for you is, why did you choose this community? Like, what made you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so like I said, I had a roommate who was vegan, and for me to be living with her and seeing how she ate and how like her mindset behind it really intrigued me to like look more into it and stuff. So, and then like after I did more research from being roommates with her, I learned that the lifestyle is a lot healthier for you and your body, and like especially for people who have food sensitivities. The vegan like diet or vegan food choices can help with like digestion, and like can just help with the overall like health of your body and like how your digestive system works. And so like I also found that, so for the community I found a discourse community that claims to be the largest vegan community on the internet, and it's on Reddit, and it's called it's a page called r/vegan. So it's not really a specific community like vegan recipes or something like that, but it was so big that, and it had so much information when I just like at first glance, that it like sparked my interest and I wanted to focus on that. I also, since there's such a big and community, I could see the way that they communicated really well. And that's the whole point of this project. So
okay, so you did bring up Reddit,
yeah.
and so a question I do have is, why do you even think that Reddit holds the largest community for vegans to communicate?
So I think that Reddit is a good place for any community in general, but Reddit is like a common form of social media. It's not huge. It's not the same way that Instagram or like Twitter is, because there's so many ways that you can post and like talk to other people on their page. It can be accessed online, and you can also access it on like an app on your phone. So like if you're just at like a desktop, you can use it, but if you're on your phone, you can use it, and that's kind of more of the like social media aspect of it, like the way that Instagram works. According to Reddit Press, Reddit is the 5th most viewed website, and it has over 130,000 plus active communities. That's not just people, that's communities that they have within their website. And they also have 21 billion monthly viewers. So it's a lot of people accessing communities of their like interests and like topics that they like to look at. So like in this case, I'm focusing on vegan community, but for other people, like you can look at sports, or you can look at memes, or like one that I follow is about snakes, like people who own snakes. Another one that I follow is like r/trash pandas, which is about what's it called? Raccoons. So there's a lot of different places on the app or on the website for people to communicate within the communities that they enjoy. And so like Reddit's whole motto is the conversation starts here, which I really like, but it's like no matter what the topic, like I said, is, through Reddit, like people can communicate with other people who are interested in the same things that they are. And so it's kind of like the dark web of communities for people to like communicate with each other. And also like within Reddit, the people who have joined those communities, they can find like a community they like. So for me, I found the r/vegan, and within that, you can write posts on that page, and you can write posts where you're asking questions or you're asking for advice, or you can post anything that like relates to the topic that you're on. So like for me, they could, for the r/vegan, they could post about vegan recipes or vegan memes or like links to outside websites that have to do with vegan, or even blogs. They can also post places to like donate and support the topic that they're talking about. So like for r/vegans, I've saw that they have posted links to other websites where you can donate to causes that go against animal cruelty, and like the list is endless for like every different topic. Of course, there's different things that you can add to each page, but like within these posts, people can answer the questions or simply just give their opinion or give the comment on whatever it is. And also, if you don't want to comment on it, you can directly contact the person who made the post if you wanted to give them like private advice, or if you wanted to just start a conversation with them or something like that. So there's definitely a lot of different ways that within Reddit you can communicate, not just for this community, but just for communities in general on here. That's the whole point of their website. So I think that's why it's so big in Reddit.
Let's see. Okay. What are the specific ways they use to communicate?
So like I was just saying before, there's like a lot of ways for each community to communicate. With the page that I focused on specifically, I noticed that like in general, you can just post on their page whatever you want. They do have guidelines to what you can and can't post. So like you can't post like things going against their community, because they want to keep their community filled with people who are also vegans or interested in being a vegan, but not people who are there to not discriminate. That's not the word I'm looking for, but
judge.
Yeah, judge their lifestyle. But you can post on their page, like I said, just with any topic that you want, or if you have a link that you want to share to other people, like maybe a link to a recipe or a link to a website that had an interesting page about being a vegan, or maybe like new breakthroughs in veganism, or just anything really. I also noticed that from their main page, you're able to view other subreddits that are connected with their community. So their main community is r/vegan, but if you go under our friends, you're able to find the other subreddits that are dedicated to veganism, and some are including like r/vegan activism. There's another one that's r/vegan recipes, and another one that's called r/debate a vegan. So just from their main page, you're able to communicate with other pages that have to do with veganism but go more specific into their genre. So instead of just being a vegan, if you wanted to specifically look at vegan activism, then you could go to that page from their page and do more research or become a part of that community too. Or if you just wanted to look for vegan recipes for the week, then you could go to the vegan recipes page and communicate with them and find new recipes for yourself. Or if you wanted to debate with a vegan, then you could go there and see all their debates on why they're a vegan and why it's good for them. And I'm sure people go there to ask questions. Maybe some people who don't understand the lifestyle go on there and debate with them. But there's definitely ways for them to communicate through that. Also, from their main page, I saw that there's a link to their Discord. So their Discord is another form of social media in a way. It's more, what I've noticed Discord is mainly used for is video games. It's used for video games, and people will make their Discord, and you can have separate groups of people who for like different games. So like my boyfriend himself has a group chat with all of his friends that he plays video games with, and then he has separate group chats for specific games and those specific people who play those games. So that Discord is a group chat of a bunch of vegans that I'm sure do the similar things that they do on Reddit, but it's a more personable, I guess. It's more of like a group chat instead of a whole website, I guess, or a whole page on a website. So they get to talk through that. So that's definitely a huge way that they communicate. I'm not personally a part of it because I am not a vegan and I wouldn't want to like intrude, but I do know how Discord works, and I know that it's definitely a great way to communicate with people who are doing the same thing that you are. So I'm in several group chats on Discord for some of the video games I play, like Ark. So I have a group chat with all my friends that I do that with. Additionally, they have on their main page, you can also find the links to all their resources. So from this page, I was able to find different places to make donations that to like foundations that have to do with veganism, not specifically veganism, but like I've said before, for like animal cruelty, to donate against that. And also they had like a cheat sheet, which was literally like a Google Doc of all of the Reddit or subreddits for veganism that they have or are connected with. They also had like, let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. They also had like some of the like tips and tricks, I guess, kind of, on what to and what not to do being a vegan. So that was interesting to look at. And let's see. Cheat sheet. Sorry. They also had different like websites, like not even just like Reddit subreddits. They also had like websites that were for vegans. So one of them is called Vegan Activism, and it gives like a description of what the website is and then a link to it. And then what I also found that was interesting was there was some on the list that's like, there's one called the Humane League, and it was like a local kind of thing. So it's something where you could go and meet them and like actually immerse yourself into the community and talk to them, and it gives you like a description again and like the link to where you can find the local community near you so you can talk to them, which I found was really cool. They also have like vegan challenges on here, so it's things that you can do. Like there's a 30-day vegan boot camp, and it gives you a link to a website where you can do the boot camp with other people and like talk to people who are also doing it, maybe at different days, but they're also in the boot camp, and there's several different challenges that they put on there for you. They also give like more resources. I know that I said that these are links to their resources, but they gave more resources to go to. So like these are like statistics and studies that they found that are legit and can help people understand their community a little bit more. They have like resources for newer vegans, like on how to, like the starter kit on how they can get immersed into the community and into the new lifestyle. They've got vegan cookbooks. They've got like celebrities that are vegan. They added people who are activists that people can follow. The reasons, like the World Health and Nutrition organizations for veganism, but there's just like a bunch of different things, like also how to eat out as a vegan. But I'll stop. It's a long list, but they definitely have a lot of stuff on their cheat sheet. From their resources, they also have the rules for their page, like what you can and can't post. It's not a way of like saying you can't post X, Y, and Z, but it's more just to keep people who are there to discredit or attack their community out. Also, from that resources page, they had a documentary that was listed, so I'm gonna try to look at that later, but it was definitely interesting to see that they had a documentary as well, and that's all I have for right now.
Okay, I have, do you have any first-hand experience with this community?
So I am not a vegan myself, but I did try to be a vegan for a week.
Didn't go well.
I started the new lifestyle when I needed to go to the grocery store, so I didn't have to throw out any food during this daring time when there's nothing at the grocery store. And so I did some research on like vegan staples from the r/vegan community, and it was really easy to find like what I needed to get at the grocery store, and it was really easy to like basically make a plant-based grocery list. So the list included like oat milk, which is something that I actually already used because of living with my old roommate who was vegan. She got me to switch to oat milk, and it helped a lot with like my stomach. Actually, like I noticed that milk didn't really sit well with me, but like other dairy products didn't bother me. But I've been drinking oat milk for a while. I also got vegan butter, which I found was like has been right next to the rest of the butter the whole time I've been shopping. And like many of my typical grocery items, I just had to double check like that all of them didn't have dairy in them. So like some pancake mixes may include milk or eggs, it says on the back of it, but some of them don't. So you just have to like look and find the one that doesn't. And then like the rest of the grocery list was just mainly like fresh produce and like vegetables, and if I wanted to make it a cheaper grocery list, then I could have gotten frozen vegetables and stuff. But definitely just like a lot of plant-based stuff to get myself started. So while making food throughout the week, I noticed that a lot of the stuff that I eat on a daily basis had a lot of dairy in it. Like I never realized how much dairy I consumed on a daily basis. Now that I had to focus and make sure that I didn't eat any animal byproducts for the week, it was like it helped me realize how much I really consumed and how much I was playing into the whole negative production of all of the things that I was eating. So it was definitely interesting to see that and like reflect on myself, but it was definitely a difficult week. I went right back to what I normally ate the next week and went back to having my cream cheese and all of my other cheeses. Yes, mac and cheese. I also noticed that a lot of like dairy, like mock dairy products, so like vegan cream cheese or vegan mac and cheese are a lot more expensive. So it was harder for me to give that up because I want mac and cheese and all of that, but I don't want to have to pay the extra price. So that's mainly why I haven't stuck to it now. Granted, I could probably change my mind a little bit later if I did some more research, but for now, I'm going to stick to eating the way that I normally do.
Okay, and then the last question I have for you is, what do you think about this discourse community and how they communicate?
So I found, like I said in the beginning, this community was really big, and it was really easy to see how they communicated and how often they communicated, and like all of the different ways, like a huge web of their communication. Every single reference that I've gotten so far for this project has come from the r/vegan community on Reddit, which is crazy that I can find so much information and so many links just from like scrolling through their page for a couple hours. So it was definitely like such an informative community. Like I didn't even need to do any outside research, as in like going on Google and searching something, because of just the extensive community that they have. Yeah. I mean, I think that it's really amazing how so many people can come together from like one specific thing. I love how Reddit is set up, and I think, like I said before, that's exactly why this community is so big for them on Reddit, because there's so many ways for them to communicate with each other, like through just posts themselves, people commenting, and people can comment on other people's comments, and people can directly message other people. You can get into their Discord, which is really cool, that they share the link
It
of
can even
that.
make like somebody like me that doesn't know anything about it know more about it, and then become one in the future, possibly.
Yeah, or even just spark the interest of wanting to know more. And like, I'm sure as the more that I've been reading about it, the more interested I've been in becoming one. So it's definitely interesting to see how big this community is and how much they communicate. But that's gonna be all for now.